is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
Downtown Minneapolis on a beautiful fall night for baseball as the fans file in and the Twins start their final homestand of the season, facing the Detroit Tigers, who have much to play for here in the next 3 nights. Welcome inside the ballpark. Hard to believe it, but just 6 more home games to go, all consecutively, all starting tonight. And the Tigers, as I mentioned, have a lot to play for. They're 2.5 back in the American League wildcard chase. This series will have a lot to say about whether the Tigers can hang in the race. Let's take a look at the series setup, starting with the Tigers, who have found a home here at Target Field. They are perfect 6-0 in this ballpark. They're 12-4 overall. They've batted .301 against the Twins this year. The Twins batting just .232 against the Tigers. Minnesota hopes that Santiago stays sizzling. Hector's been really good in his last 4. ERA below 2, included a gem at Detroit last Thursday, just 1 run in 5 2/3 innings. And anybody been hotter than Brian Dozier? 22-game hit streak into this series. And yes, he is tied for second in Major League Baseball with 41 home runs. He was 7 for 15 against the Tigers in Detroit last week. When we come back, Dick and Bert with the matchup on the mound for Minnesota. They ripped Matt Boyd last time. What will they do for an encore tonight? Stay tuned.
Baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Ram. Get power you can depend on at Ram Power Days. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. Last week in Detroit, the Twins won 2 ball games. One of them started by tonight's starter Hector Santiago, and the other one started by Detroit starter Matt Boyd. It's the opening game of the final homestand of the year. A lot to play for the Tigers. We'll see how this 3-game series turns out. Dick and Bert with you for the series opener. And yeah, the Twins faced Matt Boyd last week in Detroit. They got to him, and they got to him early.
Yeah, they did. Exactly right. Matt Boyd's made 3 starts prior to his last start in Detroit, and he pitched very well in those first 3 starts. But in this one, the Twins came out attacking early. They scored a couple runs early. Polanco hit a double in the first inning that scored a run, and then a 2-run home run in the second inning. Boyd only went 3 2/3 innings, 7 earned runs allowed. One of his shortest starts of his young career.
See, Brian Dozier got a couple of hits against Boyd. He'll need at least 1 here tonight to extend his hitting streak to 23. The opening game of the final homestand comes up next.
The hair. Always has really nice hair.
And boy, is he pretty good at baseball. The 5'11", 200-pound leader of the Twins. You know his swagger, his smile, his sizzle. You know his highlights and that hair. More freedom and flair than fear and awe.
There goes another one. Are you kidding me?
Seduced by promise. Captivated by his potential.
Deep to left field. Gone. And Brian Dozier tees off.
We know where Brian Dozier has been. One question remains. Where does he go from here?
Well, Brian Dozier has been the highlight of an otherwise disappointing Twins season. 41 home runs on the year, 98 runs batted in, 99 runs scored. And I would imagine there has to be a little extra incentive for Twins players this week that might not be there next week. You've got contending teams, games that are really important to the Mariners and now the Tigers. And you want to finish off your home schedule on a high note as well.
Well, that's what the players are looking to do. You know, this is a baseball game. You can't bring back the past. You can always look forward to today, and that's what the Twins players and the Detroit Tigers are all about. Tigers, you know, they're trying to get into that wild card. And every win is almost a necessity for the Tigers, as they're 2.5 games behind the Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays for that wild card race.
And for the second series in a row, the Twins are taking on a Tiger team that will set up the back end of their rotation. Boyd tonight. And then the Tigers announced that Buck Farmer is going to make the start tomorrow, and then back to the top of the rotation, Justin Verlander on Thursday. So yeah, they're critical games, but the Tigers have been struggling with the back end of their rotation, and we'll see if the Twins can take advantage of that here, at least in the first 2 games. And Ausmus, in his 3rd year with the Tigers, got into the playoffs the first year, a last place finish last year, and he's kept his team through a whole bunch of injuries above the 500 mark. And he's got some injuries to deal with tonight. Some familiar names not in the lineup tonight. We'll talk about that as we move forward. The Menards batting order has Cameron Maybin leading off, then Jose Iglesias, Miguel Cabrera, then J.D. Martinez, Justin Upton, James McCann, Jacoby Jones, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Andrew Romine.
And on the mound, it'll be Hector Santiago. Back-to-back starts for Santiago against the Tigers. And you know, here on Sunday it was, you see Kinsler getting hit in the head.
Trevor Bauer actually hit 3 Tiger players.
Yep. And
Kinsler took one in the helmet. He's suffering some concussion symptoms, and for the 2nd day in a row, Victor Martinez got hit in the right knee.
Yep, one below the knee, that one just above the knee, and he stayed down for a long time. Also hit in that ball game was Miguel Cabrera. So Martinez not in the lineup, which is odd to see. You always see Martinez in the lineup against the Twins, and also Ian Kinsler.
Santiago will take whatever break that might provide. He won't have to face Kinsler in the leadoff spot, and his season so far has had a whole bunch of stops and starts, including a trade from the Angels to the Twins.
Yeah, he got traded for Ricky Nolasco and also Alex Meyer, but making his 31st start, his 9th start as a Minnesota Twin. First 4 starts not very good, last 4 starts outstanding. 2-0 over his last 4 starts with a 1.80 ERA. Only 5 earned runs allowed in his last 25 innings pitched.
Cameron Maybin's been struggling as of late. The Tigers generally have struggled. They've only won 4 of their last 12 games, and Maybin takes strike 1. And now strike 2.
And Santiago likes to work inside to right-handed hitters, and then he'll throw that screwball away. Big slow curveball. He'll add and subtract with that breaking ball.
Inside, missed inside, 1 and 2.
He'll top out at 92, 93 miles an hour. Santiago, 28 years old, looking for his 13th win.
Pop up, right center field. Dozier out, Kepler in, and Kepler with the catch. And out number 1. That'll bring up Jose Iglesias. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Eddie Rosario's gone for the year. He's got a fracture in his thumb, and so he's done for the year. We'll see a lot of Robbie Grossman in left, Byron Buxton in center, Max Kepler in right, Escobar, Polanco, Dozier, Vargas, the infielders, and John Ryan Murphy behind the plate. Vargas hitting .500 as a right-handed batter, so we'll see an awful lot of him against lefties.
14 hits and 28 at-bats for Vargas.
Strike 1 to Iglesias, moving up to the 2nd spot in the batting order. Maybin was hitting 2nd. Kinsler was hitting leadoff. Checked his swing, 1-1. Tigers struggling as of late, but they are perfect here at Target Field this year. They've won all 6 games between the Tigers and the Twins here in Minnesota. Foul back.
Santiago making his 3rd start against the Tigers this season, his 10th career start. Did some relieving against them when he was with the Chicago White Sox when he first came up.
Got him on the inside corner, buzzed a 91-mile-per-hour fastball.
Working the inside part of the plate early. Santiago picks up a strikeout. Well, last 4 starts, as I mentioned, 2-0. Very good earned run average. opponents hitting just 200 off of Santiago over the last 25 innings.
And in the last 4 starts, he's faced 4 American League Central teams. And he's had not 1 but 2 really good starts against the best team in the division, the Cleveland Indians. So there's some reasons for hope and optimism surrounding Santiago and what he might be able to provide this Twins rotation next year. It's nice to pitch well, but when you can pitch well within your division, and we have this unbalanced schedule, that's kind of an added bonus. 1-0 to Miguel Cabrera. Tigers had an off day yesterday, as the Twins did, and on Sunday, Cabrera already picked up his 2,500th big league hit.
4th youngest player to ever get 2,500 hits at the age that he's at. So congratulations to him, and hope he doesn't get any more. A list against the Twins.
And that sets up our Carsoup.com trivia question: who holds the major league record for most career hits through the age of 33? One and 2 to Miguel Cabrera. 12th pitch of the inning for Santiago. Just a little bit low, had the outside corner, but missed 2-2.
Santiago's done a good job against Cabrera. Only 4 hits in 19 at bats. That's a .211 batting average, but 2 of the 4 hits have been home runs.
Lifted foul into the seats. 3 games with Detroit, then 3 with Seattle. First 5 games of the homestand, all night games, and a day game on Sunday. Paul Molitor's team will finish the season with a 6-game road trip, 3 in Kansas City, 3 in Chicago. And now 3-2.
They tried the changeup right there. Cabrera in his 9th season with the Tigers.
Saw J.D. Martinez in the on-deck circle. High fly right field. Kepler with the play, and a good first inning for Hector Santiago, setting the Tigers down 1-2-3. Santiago, a quick 1-2-3 inning. Paul Molitor has, of course, resigned himself to the fact that this is going to be a very disappointing season, and yet he'd like to have his team finish with a strong final 2 weeks. The Menards batting order has Brian Dozier in the leadoff spot, Jorge Polanco batting second, Robbie Grossman third, Kenny Vargas, Kurt Suzuki, Max Kepler in the middle, and then Eduardo Escobar, John Ryan Murphy, and Byron Buxton.
And for the 4th time this season, now in back-to-back starts, the Twins will see young left-handed Matt Boyd, 25 years old, coming over from Toronto last year in the David Price trade, making his 17th start. And again, his 4th against the Twins this year. He's won 2, he's lost 1. The 1 coming in his last start in Detroit. That was game 2 in that 4-game series where Kyle Gibson pitched great and the Twins won 8-1.
And Brian Dozier enters this homestand with a 22-game hitting streak. And he takes an off-speed pitch, strike 1.
The Twins attacked Boyd right off the get-go back on Tuesday. A week ago.
Dozier singled, Polanco doubled, Grossman singled. It was 2-0 with just a handful of Boyd pitches, and then Polanco later added a home run and a 2-run single. 0-2 to Dozier. Tigers in advance of this series said we can't let Brian Dozier beat us. Now, it's hard to pitch around a guy when he's leading off the ball game, but expect Brian to be pitched differently in this series than he was in Detroit. Dozier had a really good series, got some big hits in the 2 wins that the Twins got at Comerica Park. Up the middle, and there's a 23-game hitting streak. Dozier right over the rubber, right over the second base batter.
Well, you kind of saw it right off the get-go. Boyd started him off with a changeup and then the breaking ball, but he left a fastball up a little bit, and this is one reason that Brian, yes, he's hitting a lot of home runs, but that average has been climbing. He's up to 280. Not trying to hit every ball out of the ballpark. That pitch away took it right back up the middle.
It's hard to do with all the at-bats he's had and with 2 weeks left, but you know, and of course he's got a chance to win the home run title. Trumbo's 2 ahead of him, but I think a lot of people would be more impressed if Brian could get near 300 with his batting average.
Wow, good jump.
Tremendous jump and an easy steal of second. For Dozier, who's been doing a lot of little things to help the Twins score runs and win games.
Boy, he went on first movement right there. 16th stolen base for Brian Dozier. You see the jump that he had. Saltalamacchia's throw on the second base side, but really no chance as Romine just dove for the ball and kept it out of center field.
Strike 1 to Polanco. Polanco 4 for 6 against Boyd, including 3 hits in Detroit last week. Check his swing, 1-1.
And Polanco is a right-handed hitter, of course, a switch hitter, hitting .375. Has a home run from each side of the plate.
And Grossman, another switch hitter, hitting behind him, hitting .374 from the right side.
A lot of right-handed switch hitters in the lineup because of Boyd against left-handed hitters this year, hitting just .177 against them, where right-handers are hitting .276.
And Polanco takes ball 2.
So he has handled left-handers very well. It's the right-handers that has been an issue for young Matt Boyd, just making his 29th major league start.
And Vargas too will hit behind Grossman, and he's hitting .500 as a right-handed batter. So good chance with Dozier already in scoring position. Somebody will be able to get him home to score his 100th run of the season. Fouled away, 2-2.
Good hitting right there by Polanco. You almost saw him wanting to hit the ball toward the right side. Try to advance Dozier at least over to third. Tom Bernansky, Rudy Hernandez, the hitting coaches here. Those are the little things sometimes, and these are, even though the Twins are out of it, these are the little things that you get graded on by the coaching staff and also your manager. What do you do in situations like this? Try to get Dozier over to third.
Foul tip, and Saltalamacchia hangs on. 1 away, and now Robbie Grossman. Northland Ford defense for the Tigers, and yeah, it's a different look with a couple of guys out, although Martinez, Victor, the usual designated hitter. It's Upton in left, Maven in center, J.D. Martinez in right. Jacoby Jones at third. Jose Iglesias at short. Andrew Romine filling in for Kinsler at second. Cabrera at first. Saltalamacchia behind the plate. We saw Romine really play well at third base last week in Detroit. Ian Kinsler has concussion symptoms, and he'll need to pass concussion protocol to be allowed back to play. after being hit in the helmet on Sunday. Strike one to Grossman. Twins have their own injury news. As we told you, Eddie Rosario was diagnosed with a broken thumb, and his season is done.
He dove into the bag at first base in that the Mets series.
Flare foul into the seats, and it's quickly 0-2. And that's just fine for the Twins, at least against left-handed pitching, because Grossman's been tearing the cover off the ball as a right-handed batter. Hitting, as we said, .374, 15 extra base hits and 107 at bats. OPS well over 1,000.
Grossman coming off that game against the Mets on Sunday when he went 4 for 4, all singles. And that is a left-handed hitter.
And strike three called by Adrian Johnson. And Grossman didn't like it. You could hear some grumbling from the Twins dugout as well. 2 down. That looked high from up here.
Now we'll see what if we have box track. You take a look at the pitch.
Yep. I'll say this of Grossman: he does have a pretty good idea of what a strike is and is not. And if the Twins are going to get anything from the Dozier single and stolen base, they'll need to get a hit now from Vargas. Adrian Johnson with the plate. Gary Cederstrom, Eric Cooper, and Ryan Blackney. Base umps. Down the middle, strike one. Vargas with 8 home runs on the year, 4 from each side of the plate. A much higher average from this side of the plate. And a home run left-handed Sunday in New York. Tapper to short, and Iglesias fires across. Dozier's left at second base. Twins come up empty in the first.
Conversation this afternoon with pitching coach Neil Allen of the Twins, and he lamented about this second half of the year, how it's been so difficult to get the bullpen the proper rest to line them up for a series. But he said the pitching was good in New York. They held the Mets to 3 runs each game, and he really said the starting pitching, specifically in the middle game, Irvin Santana allowed them to get a little breather there. Then the day off yesterday, and for once, he said, coming into a homestand, they've got everybody lined up, everybody with rest. And the last thing he said, guys, is it's so difficult with the starters and the bullpen this time of year, not just the physical, but the mental side of things, to get a breather and to get everybody lined up and ready to go fresh for the series. They know they're playing contenders. They're going to give it their best shot, and certainly the starting pitching they got the last week has allowed them to set this bullpen up for success here, hopefully in this homestand.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. You know, it's not too often we have had a 3-game series. High fastball swung through by J.D. Martinez right there. But Mets only scored 9 runs. We only scored 4. But, you know, 3-game series, 13 total runs. My goodness, usually we see that in 1 game.
2 strikes to J.D. Martinez. Just missed inside. You know, and to follow up on Kevin's point, and there wasn't a shutout, right? I mean, the starting pitching was solid. It was good. It wasn't spectacular. So that's all you're really looking for. Have your starter give your team a chance to win a ball game and not deplete the bullpen. And that's with, you know, 12 relievers out there. 2-2 now to J.D. Martinez, Justin Upton, and James McCann will follow.
It is that time of the year.
Fouled away. What would you like to?
Glad we got a seat on the plane.
What would you like to see done? I think they'll tinker with the September rules for call-ups and put limits on the number of players. What would you like to see done?
I'd like to see 30, max of 5 extra bodies.
But can you change it from Tuesday night to Wednesday
just
night?
Just 5.
Okay.
You know, because for 5 months, pretty much the same group of guys got to where you're at. So you add 5, whether it be 3 pitchers and a couple players. But you know what? I guess I'm from the old school. You can see the bullpen right there. You got to get out there early just to get a seat.
Full count to J.D. Martinez.
How about you? I know you have said that the reserve, you know, you get 35 and you put 5 on a reserve.
You could change it, maybe if not from game to game, from series to series, and then you could probably juggle your starting. You know, if a guy wasn't going to start for you, then don't put him on the eligible list for that series. I mean, a starting pitcher.
Oh, pretty good close pitch right there.
J.D. Martinez takes a leadoff walk, and Santiago lost him after getting ahead of him 0-2.
Let's take a look at the last pitch. Really working all the Detroit hitters inside so far. Ball just off the plate a bit. So the first walk for Santiago, and he'll usually walk 4 a ball game. He'll strike out 6 or 7.
Here's Justin Upton, who gave the Tiger lineup a big spark. A lot of power at a time when they needed it. And there's the outside corner, strike 1. The Tigers, before losing Kinsler and Victor Martinez, were dealing with the loss of Nick Castellanos. He tried to swing a bat yesterday again against live pitching and felt some pain in the area of the broken bone in his hand. 1 strike. 2 strikes. Santiago seems to be taking advantage of the Tiger hitters in take mode.
Well, he's really working them hard in. All the right-handed hitters so far he's been pitching in. Right-handers hitting only 244 off of them. Left-handers 260. John Ryan Murphy behind the plate, catching Santiago, and they're going back in again.
On 3 pitches, Upton took 3 fastballs and will head back to the dugout.
And second strikeout, second straight called third strikeout. Struck out Iglesias in the first inning on a fastball in.
Santiago pitched well against the Tigers. There's the first pitch.
Little breaking ball. And then he went with the fastball in. And the strike 3 right there.
James McCann, the catcher, normally tonight the designated hitter in the absence of Victor Martinez. Missing inside. Now you probably did what Santiago's being asked to do here tonight, pitch second straight start against the same team. Did you change your approach at all from the second start to the first start?
A lot depends on how I pitched the first time. You know, you don't go more than 3 innings. You think, boy, I
better try something else.
Yeah, better try something else. But you know what? You go with the stuff that you have working for you that night. It's night after night, and right now, you know, Adrian Johnson, now those are strikes, but you know what? Now you just work in a little bit more. So far, Santiago's game plan right now, he and John Ryan Murphy worked these right-handers hard in.
I think we've already seen more fastballs over the inside corner than we did in his 5 1/3 inning outing at Comerica Park.
Maybe a breaking ball, something off speed. Dave Clark, the third base coach, makes a nice grab and throws it up in the stands for a souvenir.
1-2 to James McCann.
You know, first time around when you face somebody and then it's back to back, there's usually 1 or 2 guys that probably have hit you well, so you pitch a little different to those guys. But all in all, Santiago pitched well. He did not go that deep into the ball game into the 6th inning because of the high pitch count, but that's his track record. A lot of pitches in a short amount of time.
And an off-speed pitch gets a swinging strikeout, 2 down. It just seems like Santiago so far is doing what you and Jack Morris and others say pitchers have to do: establish the fastball and then work in your secondary pitches.
There's a good changeup right there to get McCann to swing through it.
Zuba's Palooza is back September 23rd. Special ticket package includes a game ticket plus your very own limited edition Minnesota Twins Zuba's page. You can take advantage of this special offer, available exclusively by logging on to twinsbaseball.com/Zubas. You know, one of the great things about Zubas with this Minnesota winter too fast approaching is you can wear long johns underneath them. They fit so loosely. You can put like 3 pair of long johns on and then put the Zubas over the top and wear them in the middle of January.
Like you've done that.
Yes,
before.
yes. 1 strike to Jacoby Jones. Martinez goes, and Murphy's throw got him. John Ryan Murphy with a throw into the sliding J.D. Martinez to end the inning. And we've seen Murphy do that a couple of times now since being called up from Rochester. Sports North is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. And by Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected. Second inning in a row where we've seen Santiago and his catcher talk about the preceding half inning.
This is a must during a ball game. You know, you talk about maybe the hitters before the ball game, how you're going to approach them, but then the game dictates. Maybe, you know, they're talking about, hey, Adrian Johnson, the umpire, is giving us that ball inside. Let's stay in there for right now.
Fouled back and into the press box. Almost into Tony Oliva, the Spanish radio broadcast. Alonso Marquez working with him, and I think he went right to the official score. I hope he caught it. Otherwise, we're going to give him an error.
Give him an error for sure.
Greg Wong, the official scorer tonight. One strike, and Suzuki lifts it to left center field. Playable for Upton. One down. And that'll bring up Max Kepler. The Tigers, at the most critical time of the year, have as their Achilles heel their starting pitching. Sunday, Daniel Norris was the winning pitcher for the Tigers in their series finale with Cleveland. It was the first win by a Detroit starter in 21 games. That's not what you want in August and September. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Can you imagine 3 weeks?
Well, especially having that guy on the mound
every 5 days. Yeah.
On Thursday, Justin Verlander.
That's just a sign of things not clicking. Inside 2-1. So now they're hoping, with the season frankly hanging in the balance in this series, the Tigers need to win at least 2 games. And that might not be enough, depending on what other teams do. Kepler takes an off-speed pitch outside, 3-1.
Saw that slow curveball right there, along with the slider, the fastball. Not overpowering by Boyd, but pretty good control. Only 28 walks in 90 innings.
And Kepler takes a walk.
First walk for Boyd.
That'll bring up Eduardo Escobar. Of the Twins switch hitters, and there are 4 of them in the lineup today, Escobar is the only one that doesn't have wide splits, right-handed and left-handed. And truth be told, Escobar's had a disappointing season offensively from both sides of the plate, hitting .250 left-handed and .223 from the right side. See if he can finish strongly. Dozier stole on the first pitch of the first inning at bat by Polanco. So courtesy check by Boyd. If I was a hitter, and you know I'm not, but if I was a hitter,
I've seen you at fantasy camp.
I know,
You're right.
I know. I would appreciate, in Polanco's case, that Dozier stole second on the first pitch, because now you've got the rest of the at bat to try to at least get him to third base. It didn't work out, and Kepler goes on the first pitch. Saltalamacchia's throw in time to get him. A one-hop throw at that.
Well, he didn't have the best of jump, and also Boyd utilized that slide step, and Paul Molitor is going to take a look at it right here. Head first slide.
Yep, got his fingers right before they hit the bag.
Nice little one-hop throw by Saltalamacchia. Not the best of jump. Romine getting that short hop, and then the quick drop-down tag just like that.
Lucky he didn't jam his fingers into the glove. And now Escobar drives one to right center field. J.D. Martinez cuts it off. 3-man bat in a 1-2-3 second inning. He struck him out. And a strikeout with a fastball. Got him.
Strikes him out. That'll end the inning.
And Hector Santiago has picked up 3 strikeouts. He is not allowed a hit. He'll face the bottom third of the Tiger lineup, starting with Jacoby Jones here in the third. First pitch, swing and a miss.
You know, sometimes when you get traded, you have that discomfort time in your career, and you know, maybe that's what Hector Santiago went through in his first 4 starts. You know, you're going to a new ball club, new teammates, new environment. But over the last 4 starts, he has been outstanding.
And the Twins now, as has been the case for the last couple of years, they need help from the left side when it comes to starting pitching. Tommy Milone's had every opportunity to win a job. Hasn't worked out too well, at least so far. 2 strikes, and Jones misses, or Jones takes ball 1. I mean, you don't have to have a left-handed starting pitcher, but teams like to have at least one lefty in their rotation. Now, where he would slot in 5th, 4th, 3rd, whatever, he has that advantage of being left-handed right now, pitching for a team that doesn't have much left-handed pitching.
Well, one thing that Santiago picks up his 4th strikeout has really been, as since you put in the starting rotation, has been durable. So right there, big slow curveball.
Well, now if you gave him 34 starts, there's no guarantee you're going to get 200 innings. He's kind of a 5 to 6, maybe 7 inning guy. But if he gives up 1 or 2 runs, that would be, as he did in his last month with the Angels. I think Twins fans would take that gladly. Fouled away, a strike.
Well, last year with the Angels, he made 32 starts. He made 1 relief appearance. He had a 3.59 ERA, which is good, and he worked just over 180 innings.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that's going to be your number 3 or 4, maybe, you know, that type of starter. Someone, as long as he stays healthy.
Just, you know, on the basis of his July when he went 6-0 with an ERA of 1.78, he's experienced success up here.
In today's game, the 3.81 earned run average, believe me, that's good. That's a good earned run average.
2-1 to Jared Saltalamacchia. Not much of a batting average, but plenty of power with a dozen home runs and a lot of key home runs for the Tigers. Down and away, 3-1.
You know, he's got probably around 10 more starts than Kyle Gibson in his career. Gibson's career ERA going into his last start on Sunday was a 4.58. So, you know, about 0.7 more than Irvin Santana over his career 4.11 ERA.
And now 4 seasons. We're not talking about a small sample size anymore.
Right.
Full count to Saltalamacchia. Struck him out.
How about that? 5 strikeouts already for Hector Santiago.
Only 2 balls have been put in play. They both went to Kepler in right field.
You know, they're doing a good job of working inside. Even though John Ryan Murphy was sitting inside, that ball had a little giddy up that Saltalamacchia swung through.
Andrew Romine, the batter. And the first hit on the first pitch, a liner to left with 2 down on the 3rd. And that'll bring up Cameron Maybin. Join Fox Sports North and the Minnesota Wild for the breakaway 10K, 5K, and 1 mile run Saturday, benefiting the Herb Brooks Foundation. All participants receive a t-shirt and are qualified to win 2 sweet tickets for the Wild Jets game on Sunday, October 8th. For more information, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar. Maybin hit a fly ball to Kepler in right to start the ball game. Missing inside with a fastball. Tigers have gotten everything they could have hoped for and a lot more from Maybin this year. He's done a nice job in center field. A nice job hitting now in the front end of the batting order. Hitting leadoff tonight with Kinsler's absence. Right center and deep. Kepler chasing it, and he won't get there. And a high hop against the wall. That'll allow Romine to score. And to third base, Maben with an RBI triple.
Yeah, ball left up to Romine, and he got a base hit. Now Santiago left the ball up and away to Maben that he took the other way. His 4th triple of the year, driving in his 39th run. So the first 2 outs on strikeouts, then a base hit, and now a triple. Take a look at the pitch. They want it down, but the ball kind of left up a little bit. Maben taking it the other way. It's Buxton who has to get the ball back in.
Now Iglesias.
RBI triple.
Iglesias called out on strikes. Took 3 pitches. And he takes another strike. Santiago sailing along till Romine jumped on the first pitch, got a single. And Maben to the opposite field for a triple.
Murphy going in again.
Popped up near second base. Dozier calling for it. And that'll end things in the 3rd. The Tigers with a couple of 2-out hits in the game's first run. Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? For heaven's sakes, don't take that emery board out with you on the mound. Santiago, after the Maben triple, was doing some oral fingernail care. Now he's got an emery board to sand off a rough spot, maybe.
Got a little. Sometimes you get a little blister and that fingernail. I don't know. I bit my nail, so I didn't worry.
You still do,
that.
don't you?
Yes, I do. Bad habit. It's the only bad habit I have, actually.
When I write my book, Murphy pops it up.
You're gonna write a book?
I'm gonna read one first, and then I'm gonna write one. One down.
Make sure it has pictures so I can read it.
No pictures. Byron Buxton will hit next. Tonight's Toyota Key stat. The Twins with 465 games played by rookies, including Byron Buxton, who in this game is playing his 81st game for the big league club. Polanco. And the Tigers, of course, a veteran-laden lineup. 101 games by rookies. Most of those, I would imagine, by their starting pitchers. Norris, Boyd, Fulmer. 1 strike to Buxton. Would like to see a final burst. Here's a high fly to left center field, playable for Upton. Last couple of weeks, they'd like to see a Buxton bubbled his batting average up into the 230, 240.
But you know what? Since he's come back since September 1st, he's hitting well over 300, 311, driving in some runs, hitting the long ball. You want to go into the winter, with a positive note too. I think no matter what happens from here, the next 12 ball games, Buxton has that little bit of positive that he's had in the first couple 2-3 weeks here in September.
Brian Dozier singled up the middle, stole second. The Twins left him there, extending his hitting streak to 23 games, and now it's up and away. This is where I think Brian will be pitched differently. 2 outs, 3 bases open. Guy's got 41 home runs. I don't know that they want to pitch Brian too aggressively here.
But we have seen pitchers make mistakes, and that's what Brian said. Tom Bernanke said, you get pitchers' mistakes, and Brian has done a good job of that. Even that last pitch, Sultan Lamakia wants it away, now way up and in, and Brian pops it up foul.
And tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by the Silver Bullet Clean Crisp Brewers Light. And 23 games tied now with Freddie Freeman for the longest active streak in the major leagues. 1-2 to Dozier. And hooked foul. And as we said, Dozier a couple of home runs behind Mark Trumbo for the American League and Major League lead.
I don't know what clicked for Brian Dozier, but his first 2 months, we've talked about it, weren't very good. But somewhere in June, something clicked. Not only the power, but also the batting average. Just seeing the ball better, making better contact. Still going to strike out. That's part of his game.
And he strikes out there to end the 3rd inning. Matt Boyd and the Tigers with a 1-0 lead. Tom Lehman will be our guest in the 4th inning. The Ryder Cup, the Ryder Cup.
Where's your bag?
Is right here, and no one else is here yet.
I know.
I mean, Tom Lehman's not here yet.
All guard right there. Where's your bag?
I got a duffel bag. I'll just
put it in.
Yeah, they wouldn't miss it, would they?
No, they wouldn't miss it at all. We're trying to steal.
Oh shoot! Here comes Tom Lehman. How are you, Tom? And there's the Ryder Cup brought in here, being carried with the white gloves.
I know the white gloves, that's right.
Yeah, and hey, great to see you back in Minnesota.
It's great to be here. I love it, love it, love it.
This has got a big thrill for you as a former captain of the Ryder Cup team to have this wonderful tournament coming to your home state.
It couldn't be better. You know, and we haven't had a lot of success over the last 10 Ryder Cups. I think we've lost 8 of the last 10 and haven't won since 2008. So hopefully bringing a victory to Minnesota would be something pretty special.
Now you're vice captain, correct?
Correct.
What is a vice captain? What's your responsibility?
Make sure we don't take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you take that home with you, first of all?
Yeah, keep it shined. You know, I think it's you know, Davis Love is a captain. He needs to kind of set the plate for the team, and us assistants simply help him to do his job.
But you're not the only one, and I know Tiger Wood. There's other helping out.
Tiger Woods, Jim Furyk, Steve Stricker, myself. You know, we're all there, really supporting Davis and what he's trying to do.
You know, I went to your press conference that you had. I didn't realize that David Love III, as captain, can control the rough and the grass and how quick the greens are, and also can he also control pin placements?
Absolutely, yeah. The home captain has the ability to set the course up the way he chooses to set it up. You want to have it favor your team, obviously. You know, the way the course is set up this year, I think we have a big advantage with length. I think we also have a big advantage in putting and chipping. So, you know, a longer course with less rough really benefits us.
Driven to right center field. Kepler going back, and that sails over his head. And Cabrera will dig for second. Here's the throw, and safe at second base. Cabrera doesn't run well, and he just barely beat Kepler's throw right on target on one out.
Yeah, Polanco made the quick tag, and then you see Paul Molitor's foot out back on the turf. And
take a look at the throw in from Kepler. Yep. But then he, you know, there's a case where Polanco, I'm sure, will be told, keep the tag on the runner, because for a brief time Cabrera's foot became disengaged with the base. As it is, it's a leadoff double, and J.D. Martinez will bat. Now, you played in the Ryder Cup as well, right?
I did.
What makes the event so special? You won the British Open. You played in the most prestigious golf tournaments in the world. But what makes the Ryder Cup so special?
Well, first of all, it's a team thing. So that, for starters, that's it. It's, you know, us versus them. You know, the United States versus Europe. A big deal. They certainly love to beat the U.S. So there's a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and there should be on ours as well. You know, but the passion. You know, every swing you make in the Ryder Cup makes somebody happy or makes somebody sad. And every hole from the very beginning is like the final holes of a major. I mean, there's so much pressure from the very beginning to the very end.
It's a 3-day event. Friday, Saturday, I believe. Tell us what do you do Friday and Saturday?
Okay, well, Friday there's 2 sessions, Friday and Saturday each, and 8 guys play. You know, 4 teams of 2. So you play 2 sessions of best ball and 2 sessions of alternate shot. And so each session 4 guys are sitting and 8 guys are playing, which is tough in and of itself. Try to figure who sits and who plays.
Right.
But you play those 4, and then you have 12 points on Sunday, which is just singles, just mano a mano.
So on Sunday, all 12 play.
They do.
It's just match against match.
Now, I've had the challenge, I was going to say pleasure, but the challenge of playing Hazeltine a few times. It's an extraordinary golf course. How is it suited for this type of tournament play?
Well, it's difficult. It's not an easy course to play. There's a lot of difficult shots, a lot of awkward angles, a lot of kind of crossing winds.
High fly center field, and Buxton looks like he has room.
No, but you know, it's a very
Cabrera trying for third base, the ball coming through, and he barely makes it safely again. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Hey, there's a baseball game going on. Yeah.
Cabrera, you know, not known for his speed, but he takes the chance right here by tagging up. Now, he's going back. He's watching Buxton the way he catches this ball. Does he get behind the ball ready to throw? And he does. But no cutoff man, the ball going all the way into Escobar, but Cabrera beats it.
A rare 3-hop throw from Buxton, and the runner Cabrera is safe at third with 1 down, and now Justin Upton, who took 3 pitches for a strikeout his first time up.
Now, you said in your press conference too that there are 11 that are set players.
Correct.
And there's one alternate, or there's one more out of 4 that you're looking at?
Well, there's one more pick to come on Sunday night, and there's probably legitimately 4 guys who have a legitimate chance to get that pick.
Okay.
1-0, and Upton takes high.
What do you anticipate the yardage being?
Well, I think it really depends upon who you want to play. You know, we have a team full of some long hitters, and there's also a few guys who are more steady, a little bit shorter, straighter. So you can go small ball, set it up shorter, or you can set it way back and let the big bombers go and bomb. So, you know, there's a strategy.
So I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but you have that opportunity to say move the tees up.
Absolutely.
Have the shorter hitters.
Absolutely.
Because U.S. has that opportunity. Did they do that over in Europe when you guys did the same thing 2 years ago?
Well, there's been times, for example, where the U.S. has had much longer hitters, and they've actually stopped the fairway about 275 or 280, where the U.S. couldn't hit driver. You know, so you hit a 280, then there's rough for no reason. You know, it was simply to take the driver out of the bag for the American team.
I'll be darned.
That's not fair.
Well, they did it. So that's the beauty of the home.
What are we going to do to mess them up then? What are we
We're going to yell in their backswing. I don't know. That's something.
Yeah, they get 2 gotchas. I'll tell you what the first gotcha is.
Tapper toward third. Cabrera bluffs. And now he's going to try to come home. Here's the throw. And he's safe, I think. No! They call him out, but he sure looks safe from here. The call is a double play. And I'm going to believe that the Tigers are going to challenge this and might get it turned around.
How about Cabrera? Boy, is he running like a young kid.
I think his foot got in, though, didn't it?
See when Murphy gets that glove near the plate.
Oh, he got the top of the foot before the bottom touched the plate, maybe.
Well, as a catcher, you want to put that glove right on top of the plate, but boy, I don't know.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at it. This will be, we think, the definitive view here. It looked like, yeah.
Adrian Johnson's in the way.
This view looked like he might have gotten the foot, but the tag isn't made until Cabrera's foot is on home plate.
They're going to take a look right here. I believe he's safe. I think what Murphy should have done, he should have dropped that glove right in front of home plate at that corner, and that way Cabrera would have slid right into the glove.
You know, Cabrera not known for his base running, but he aggressively took second, aggressively took third, kind of danced off of third base as Escobar threw across the diamond, and we think he scored second run of the game. They have replay at the Ryder Cup. Anything worth reviewing or challenging?
Hopefully not.
How about mulligan tickets? You guys sell mulligan tickets at all?
You know what? Every player would love to have a couple.
We'll see what the verdict is here. The headsets are coming off. Safe. So the run will count. And Miguel Cabrera, with his bat and base running, has given the Tigers a 2-0 lead. Give Upton credit for a run batted in.
Now, Tom, I know you have played in Ryder Cups. What's your most memorable moment in a Ryder Cup?
Boy, I've had a few. Well, the most memorable for sure was part of the '99 team that won at Brookline. There's nothing like that Sunday singles when we were 4 points down and came back to win. But I think one specific moment, 18th hole, Corey Paler and I beat Faldo and Montgomery in a morning match at Oak Hill, and I hit a 5-iron through the rain to about 205 yards to the pin to about 20 feet. We won the match. You know, so I can think of one shot. You know, that one always stands out.
You know, one thing that I enjoy about the event, watching it on TV, and of course we'll be on the road, we won't be able to be there for the event itself. You guys are always, almost always, restrained emotionally on the golf course. You have to be, because you have to keep your emotions in check. With the Ryder Cup, you get to see emotion and joy and grief and very much an animated atmosphere.
Your personalities come out more.
Well, I think, yeah, and the crowd responds. You know, the ability to get the crowd even more engaged after something happens, a single, you know, fist pump or a look or something to keep the crowd even more behind you. You need to do that. You need to play the crowd a little bit to make sure that they're totally behind you.
Tom, we'll thank you for the visit, but we'll wish you great weather and a great event at Hazeltine, and good luck, U.S. Team in the Ryder Cup.
Right, thank you very much.
Miguel Cabrera with his legs makes it 2-0. At their second run. Jorge Polanco will lead off the bottom of the fourth. Twins down a couple. You don't go into a series saying we can't let Miguel Cabrera's legs beat us.
Hey, you know what? Credit him for his hustle.
Yeah.
And seeing that he thought he could outrun that ball that from center field from Buxton. And then good base running right there as Escobar had to throw the ball across the diamond. Cabrera took off and slid in safely.
In his advance from second to third, I didn't think he'd go. I thought he was just going to bluff. And then when he advanced from third to home, same thing. I didn't think there was any chance he was going to try to come home. But he did and scored on the successful challenge. 1-2 now to Polanco. Grossman and Vargas will follow. The Twins had a scoring chance in the first. Brian Dozier singled, stole second right away, but the Twins left him there. And poked foul over the Twins dugout. Hey, I hope that some of our viewers will get a chance to go to Hazeltine and walk the track out there and follow the Ryder Cup. That should really be a fun event.
Oh, I had heard they estimate about 250,000 people going out there for that weekend event. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
1-2 to Polanco. Popped up and backing out of play. We'll be on the road first in Kansas City, then in Chicago next week.
But we will be watching. At least me, I will.
Polanco went down swinging. It was his at bat that kind of started the fizzle to the first inning rally. Dozier was at second. He had one strike and ended up striking out, leaving Dozier at second, and he never did get to third base. Swing and a miss, another strikeout.
And a good changeup right there by Boyd, picks up his fourth strikeout. So Boyd, being the pitcher that he was in the first two starts against the Twins this year, where he is very consistent, and he's like Santiago, back-to-back starts against the ball club. And when you get beat up like he did in Detroit a week ago, he's pitching so well right now.
See what Grossman can get done in his second at bat. He, I'm sure, still feels that the first at bat was taken away from him by Adrian Johnson, who called a pitch up, strike three.
Good changeup right there by Boyd to get strike one.
And up 1-1.
You know, when you have a David Price like the Tigers had, and they decided to trade him to Toronto, you want to get something back in return, and really they have with Norris and Boyd, two good-looking young left-handed pitchers.
That's why Twins fans, I think, can look forward to a very interesting offseason. There are going to be new people in charge, and whoever the people in charge are going to be will have some very interesting decisions. The Twins can immediately, I suspect, strengthen their rotation if they're willing to part with some key position players, whether it's Brian Dozier, Miguel Sano, Byron Buxton. The Twins can do that if they choose to do that. The question will be whether they will go ahead and do that. You know, if you've got top of the line talent like Price or just say Dozier, you can make some impactful trades that will. Grossman with a foul tip, and he strikes out again against Boyd. 2 down. We'll bring up Vargas. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Both starters getting some strikeouts. Santiago with 5, Boyd with 5 now.
What's the old saying, the old cliche, you can't make an omelet without cracking some eggs. The Twins can improve their starting rotation if they're willing to part with some talent that they have in their lineup.
Well, as you mentioned, it'll be an interesting winter to see what happens here in Minnesota with their ball club.
1 strike to Vargas, and now up 1-1. Vargas hit a ground ball to short. It finally left Dozier at second base in the first inning.
14 pitches in the first, then 2 9s and 13 so far here in the fourth.
And Vargas almost spun out of his shoes.
High fastball right here. Vargas trying to hit it into the fourth deck. Oh, there is no fourth deck.
And a breaking ball gets him. And Boyd now with a 2-0 lead strikes out the side and the fourth.
Nothing Tigers lead. We are right in the middle of the Minnesota State Lottery winner circle. 100 scratch-off tickets for Scott from Blaine. A very creative sign. I've done this for a while. I've not seen a sign like this. Scott, please explain yourself. You've got a ruler there.
Well, I got the ruler at the Minnesota State Fair, and I work for International Paper, and we make these pizza circles, and we just put her up to glue it together, and there we go. Circle me, Bert. Let's go, Twins!
Now, guys, I like the sign with Tom Lehman joining us last inning because it's kind of like one of those signs you see the Volunteers hold up at the Ryder Cup to try to hush those European fans that come in and invade our turf. So, very creative sign. Ties into Ryder Cup night here at the ballpark. Best part is he gets circled by Bert and brings home 100 scratch-off tickets from the Minnesota State Lottery.
Deep fly ball to right field. Kepler back and feeling for the wall. Makes the catch. A little bit of a leap right in front of the 365-foot sign. One away.
Yeah, third time in a ball game that a Tiger hitter has hit the ball right toward that 365 sign, and this time Kepler able to kind of feel back. Okay, I know I'm near the wall. Where is it? Where is it? Keep your eye on the ball, and makes a nice catch as he does make contact with the wall.
I can't let Kevin's comments go by without saying this. Kevin Gorg likes anything associated with, you know, a pizza round dish, the cardboard thing. Now there wasn't any pizza on it, but Kevin's still a big fan of pizza cardboard. Here's Saltalamacchia. Saltalamacchia struck out his first time up. He hits one over the head of Escobar. And Grossman will get it back to second base quickly.
Now, see, this is where you're starting to see, I think, some of the Tiger hitters adjusting because he is pitching everybody inside. Saltalamacchia, a strikeout victim in his first at bat on that high fastball. But here, this ball going inside again. You see Saltalamacchia opening up quickly. So that might open the outside part of the plate, and you can see that's a good pitch. But you can see that Saltalamacchia was almost looking for that ball in there and lined it in the left. So this is the game within the game sometimes when, yeah, you can go in, but all of a sudden now, you know, Tiger hitters say, I'm going to be a little quicker inside, might open up the outer half of the plate.
Down and in, ball one to Romine. Romine's one of those guys that has played so well against the Twins. I'm sure there are a lot of people, the manager and the coaches, thinking, why isn't this guy play every day? I mean, he's gotten some big hits against the Twins. He played very well at third base last week, and now being asked to play till further notice at second base. Inside again, 2-0.
Well, I'm sure if Kinsler was okay to play, he probably would be playing third here in this ball game. But with Kinsler having that possible concussion, he's taking the night off, and they're going to evaluate him again tomorrow. And hopefully he'll be okay. I hate to see somebody go through the concussion issue.
A little pop up to center, and Buxton comes in, and that's out number 2.
Well, one thing Santiago has done a good job of here tonight, especially in the first couple innings where he picked up 3 strikeouts, working inside. Good fastball inside. See, all fastballs, especially in the first 2 innings. Breaking ball right there.
Two down, and now Maben, who tripled in the first run with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. You know, after Tom Lehman left, you wanted a picture of, I don't think me, you sit next to me all the time, probably Tom Lehman in the Ryder Cup, but I got in on the picture.
Yeah, you did.
And I noticed that you hoisted.
You ruined my picture.
The Ryder Cup without white gloves.
No, he picked it up first. No,
but he's the one of the captains of the team. He can do whatever he wants with the Ryder Cup. Who are you to grab the Ryder Cup?
He handed it to me, first of all, without
white gloves.
Oh, he didn't offer me white gloves.
Years ago, when you and I went to the bat behind the scenes tour at Cooperstown, we had to put on white gloves, right?
So what's your point? He handed it to me. If he didn't say, hey, where's your white gloves, he handed it to me. I held it very carefully because I know the history behind that thing. I wasn't one of, I could have dropped it.
Yeah, that was. Who cares about your acidy fingerprints? I was concerned you were going to drop it. It's a fly to right, hit right at Kepler. And he makes a catch. Ryder Cup goes back to 1927. Mountain Dew fans of the game. Youngsters enjoying the fact that they survived another day of school and are enjoying this Tuesday night at Target Field.
It's a kids game, isn't it?
You and I do that from time to time up here in the booth.
Yep.
Kurt Suzuki will lead off the bottom of the 5th, trying to get something going against Boyd, who's given up 1 single, 1 stolen base, and 1 walk. Strike 1 on the outside corner. Suzuki with a fly to center his first time up.
He's pounding that strike zone. 48 pitches, 34 for strikes. He has struck out the last 4 Twins he has faced.
There's a deep foul, and it's 0-2. Boyd's already lasted longer than he did against the Twins in Detroit last week.
His 2 previous starts, subtract that one he had last week, were both quality starts against the Twins. Back in the middle of July, he pitched 6 shutout innings against the Twins, gave up only 3 hits, had a career high 7 strikeouts, as he did on August 24th.
And Suzuki chases 5 straight strikeouts. 2017 season tickets are on sale now. You can choose from our full season, partial season, or the ever popular flex plan. All season ticket packages include membership in Sweet Spot, the Twins season ticket benefits and rewards program. Go to twinsbaseball.com or call 612-375-7454. Kepler on the ground. Easy play for Romine, 2 down. We'll bring up Escobar. Last Tuesday, Comerica Park, 3 2/3 innings, 8 hits, a bunch of them extra base hits, 7 earned runs, only threw 74 pitches. Escobar hit the ball fairly hard right after Kepler was thrown out trying to steal, and J.D. Martinez cut it off in the gap. Wow, 90 miles per hour down and away. Strike 1.
12 of 16 first pitch strikes to Boyd.
Cabrera is going to chase this one. Two strikes. 53 pitches, 39 strikes, a strike percentage outstanding, 73. Oh, 2. And now 1-2. Boyd and Daniel Norris both coming via trade. There's a deep fly to left center field. This one's hit pretty good. Upton back to the wall, and he makes the catch right in front of the 377 mark. And it's another 1-2-3 inning in the 5th. Quicken Loan's Rocket Arms, the strikeout leaders in the American League. Justin Verlander leading by a couple over Chris Archer, and Verlander will try to rack up a few strikeouts against the Twins in the finale on Thursday, and the Tigers are 6-0 against the Twins here this year. It'll be Jose Iglesias leading off the sixth. Another guy used to be among the league leaders in strikeouts. James Shields continues to have just a horrible season. Another early exit for the White Sox, and he gave up 7 runs. It's the 8th time this year that James Shields has given up 7 or more runs in a start. 1 strike to Iglesias, and now 2 strikes. I mean, that's a lot of really bad outings in one season. Iglesias, Cabrera, and Martinez here in the Tiger 6th. Foul wide of 3rd.
He struck out Iglesias looking in the first inning on a fastball in, and then Iglesias got a fastball in that he popped up to Dozier to end the 3rd inning. Now going away.
Oh, chip shot, and that'll drop in front of Grossman.
Right off the end of the bat. 5th hit off of Santiago.
And our carsoup.com trivia question, I believe the answer is one Henry Aaron.
How about Ty Cobb?
Through age 33. Aaron's on the list, though.
Yes, he
right?
is. Yeah, Rogers Hornsby. Ty Cobb.
And Robin Young. Here's Miguel Cabrera. He doubled to right center field leading off the 4th inning. It was a close play, but he did make it to second base on the double. Then he advanced on a fairly deep fly ball to center to Buxton, and then he skittered away from 3rd base as Escobar fielded a ground ball and threw to 1st. This one to the right field corner, and Kepler has no play. And then Cabrera came home after a challenge. The run was granted, and it became a 2-0 game.
You know, this is one guy, if you're a baseball fan, you want to watch his at-bats. It's kind of like watching Mike Trout, you know, when he's up. This guy just knows how to hit with power. And there's no one way to pitch him. You can't say I've got to bust him in, because he will make the adjustment. Just a big man at the plate that just makes great contact.
There's great contact. Buxton going back, gliding now, making the catch short of the track. Out number 1.
Even that ball right there looked like a changeup, and got it off, looked like off the end of the bat, but still hit it about 400 feet.
Fox Tracks presented by Ram.
Yeah, I mean, look at the location. Not a bad pitch, but Cabrera just reaches out and makes Buxton go back almost to the warning track by the bullpen to make the catch.
J.D. Martinez, the batter. He walked in the 2nd, hit a fly ball to Buxton in the 4th. Checked his swing, ball 1.
What a find this guy was, J.D. Martinez, after the Houston Astros released him a couple years ago. Signed with the Tigers, went down to AAA, and then called up. And he really has been hitting ever since he put on that Tiger uniform. Last year, 38 home runs, a career high. Drove in 102.
He will tell you that he has benefited greatly watching Miguel Cabrera. Both powerful right-handed batters, and Cabrera, as we have seen over the years, uses the whole field. And that's the type of hitter J.D. Martinez has now become. He's more apt to hurt you to right and right center field than he is to left field. 2-0. Runner goes,
Great
and
jump.
pitch swung on and missed. And an easy steal by Iglesias.
Yeah, Iglesias stealing his 7th base of the year in 10 attempts. Got a great jump. Almost what Brian Dozier did against Boyd in the 1st inning. Look at the jump right there. I mean, good strong throw by John Ryan Murphy, but you could almost see Santiago's reaction. He knew that, you know, he didn't do a good job of holding on Iglesias.
And now 2-1 to J.D. Martinez. Three and one. Murphy threw out Martinez trying to steal in the second. Now Martinez with a hitter's count and Justin Upton on deck.
And this is where I think Santiago is going to be very careful right here. Doesn't want to make a mistake. He's already down 2-0.
It's coming off the DL. J.D. Martinez hitting .366. And he thought he had ball 4, but it hit the corner.
Well, going back inside with that fastball. You throw it in there enough, maybe that'll expand a little bit. That one did. You can see J.D. Martinez apologizing to home plate umpire Adrian Johnson.
Full count. Ooh.
That looked like a better pitch than the previous one. So maybe a little redemption right there. A little redeemer. Take a look.
Pitch that. Oh, that it was a strike. So now first and second, one down, and Justin Upton the batter.
Second walk for Santiago, both of them J.D. Martinez.
And the Twins know Santiago's history, and so a walk to a dangerous batter. But now first and second, the Twins are going to fire up the bullpen. He's a strike.
The fastball still there. Pretty good control tonight for Santiago. Again, working a lot of the hitters of the Tigers, the right-handed hitters, hard inside. Michael Tonkin looks like he's getting up first. That'll open a spot in the bullpen.
One strike, and diving back safely is Iglesias. When Santiago had by far his best month in the big leagues in July of this year, his pitch counts range from 94 to 119. 6 starts, all of them victories for him, and that's something you don't see very often. Could have won the Pitcher of the Month award in the American League, but Thursday's starter Justin Verlander was a little bit better than Santiago in July. And now strike 2 to Upton, who seems reluctant to swing the bat here tonight. He took 3 strikes on 3 pitches from Santiago in the second inning.
Yeah, his first at bat. Then he had that little hopper to Escobar that Cabrera ended up scoring. Upton picking up an RBI, is 77th on the year.
And a little doink behind first, and that'll drop for a hit, and it'll score a run. Kepler's throw cut off, and Upton with his second run batted in will flare down the right field line.
Well, he's trying to go in the kitchen one more time. This time Upton beat him. He just kind of fisted that ball the other way. Iglesias scores. And J.D. Martinez, you can see, going back in again.
Hit the spot.
Yep.
They wanted to go up and in. Now a big spot for this Twins team that gave up 3 runs a game to the Mets over the weekend and lost all 3 games. They're obviously struggling to score runs, and it's 3-0 Detroit. But 1 out, runners on the corners, and James McCann, the designated hitter, is up.
Santiago needs a ground ball right here. Turn a double play. Get out of this inning. 11 double plays turned behind Santiago this year.
Up and away, ball 1.
Now, he's more of a fly ball type pitcher. He doesn't get a lot of ground ball outs.
To your point, he's only had 1 so far here tonight, and that one drove in a run. Tonkin continues to warm up. 90th pitch of the night for Santiago. Hits the inside corner.
Well, strike to ball ratio where you want to be. 2 strikes to every ball. Five strikeouts in a ball game, but he has not had a strikeout since the 3rd inning.
Way out in front, 1-2.
Good changeup right there. He struck out McCann in the 2nd inning. That's what he needs right here. That or a ground ball double play. That's my call, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
That ball was a foot outside. McCann just kind of threw his bat at it. Fouled it off. That's that screwball changeup that he throws. Look where this ball was.
Fox Tracks barely could keep it in the rectangle. One and two.
Fastball up and in. Velocity still there again. Meaning the arm strength is there for Santiago.
Two and two.
Up to 9 stolen bases in the 11 attempts. Gets a throw over.
Two. Back. Pot shots at the press box here. That one almost went in there too. Brad Ausmus in the last year of his deal with the Tigers. Some people think they need to get into the playoffs for him to be renewed.
See if they stay inside again. Try that hard breaking ball. Murphy's sitting inside.
A high blast to deep left center field, and that one's not coming back. Wow. Into the second deck above the bullpen. A big 3-run bomb, and it is 6-0.
I'm telling you, hitters adjust, and I think what we have seen the Tiger offense adjusting to that fastball inside. That did not get in far enough, but boy, did McCann open up. And it's a big 3-run home run for James McCann. It's almost like he was looking inside.
And it's almost as if the Twins, the dugout, had a premonition. Remember, after the walk to J.D. Martinez, we saw the bullpen getting activated, and Santiago set with the result here in this 6th inning.
Okay, you go to the well one too many times. McCann opened up on that fastball inner half.
6-0 Tigers, and Michael Tonkin will pitch next. home run. He could take his time on this one. That ball was really clobbered.
439 feet, and that baby was hit very quickly and out of the ballpark. Michael Tonkin coming into the ball game, making his 62nd relief appearance. He worked 4 times in that last road trip, a couple times against the Tigers and then a couple times against the Mets.
Tonkin coming into the ball game for the 62nd time. Boyd, who got knocked out early, has been given 6 early runs of support. And Tonkin's first pitch is lined sharply to left field. Jones with his first hit. And that'll get us to Saltalamacchia. You know, through the Mets series, the Twins pitching staff did a nice job avoiding innings like this. And even the single runs that the Tigers scored in innings 3 and 4 aren't enough, you wouldn't think, to cost you too many ball games. But big 4 spot here in the 6th. The Twins have got their work cut out for them, trying to score even 1 run against Matt Boyd.
Yeah, that home run allowed by Santiago is 30th home run he's allowed this year.
Saltalamacchia, the batter, now hitting left-handed, and he hits the first pitch sharply to Kepler, who makes a nice running catch. And the Tigers aren't letting Michael Tonkin relax. They've hit line drives off of both pitches that he's thrown. 2 down, and now Andrew Romine.
Well, one thing you know as a hitter, you watch Michael Tonkin, you know you're going to get a fastball or that slider. I mean, there's nothing in between. So he's going to come right at you.
Down and in, ball 1. Romine singled with 2 outs in the 3rd. And then Maben very quickly after that followed with an RBI triple, and the Tigers were on the board. They've since added 5 more runs, and the Twins have been held to just 1 hit so far. It's hit to left, and Grossman makes the catch. Big inning for the Tigers. A big home run by James McCann, and it's 6-0. A big lift, and he's out tonight to try to prove that what happened last time he faced the Twins was a speed bump.
Well, you know, you face a team that beats you up, you always say, you know, I can do better. Well, Boyd has done better here this evening. 55 pitches in 40, and 40 of those over the plate for strikes. He's tied a career high already with 7 strikeouts. He's done that 3 other times, winning 7 strikeouts in a ball game.
John Ryan Murphy will lead things off. Going to pop up to the second baseman. Romine, his first time up. Murphy in September now, 5 hits in 20 at bats. And another first pitch strike.
Yeah, 13 of 17, getting ahead in the count, getting strike one. Good change up there.
0-2. Murphy, Buxton, and Dozier will hit the Twins' sixth. Tigers for scoreboard watching. Game in Camden Yards tonight. They need help. They need to take care of their business, but they need help, and they're getting some from the Red Sox tonight, who are leading the Orioles 5-2, top of the 8th inning. The team that the Tigers are chasing, Toronto Blue Jays, will play at Safeco Field later on tonight. All they need is for one of those two teams to falter. They don't need both of them to falter. They need one. And then none of it matters unless you take care of your game.
That's what I was going to say. You can scoreboard all you want, but if you can't take care of your own business by keeping, the pressure on those clubs ahead of you.
Pop up, back and out of play. And the Tigers would be the first to tell you they've not done a good job of that, having lost 8 of their last 12 games. Starting the night, 2.5 games behind Toronto and Baltimore. Houston's right there, a half game behind Detroit. Seattle, 3 games out of the wild card spot. And the Tigers trying to do well in this series without 2 of their veteran leaders, Kinsler and Victor Martinez. Popped up short left, and Iglesias, the shortstop. Justin Upton nowhere near that ball. He wasn't 50 feet from where Iglesias caught the ball.
Well, he knew Iglesias had great range.
You'd like to have your left fielder in the vicinity, wouldn't you?
Just taking a little nap for a second.
1 down in the 6th.
Iglesias may have said, hey, don't worry about it. You relax out there. I've got this. It's a can of corn.
He had an off day yesterday to relax. Here's Byron Buxton. Popped up to right field. Romine out. J.D. Martinez is right there to help Romine out in the event he needed it. 2 down. Make your way to Target Field to celebrate Brian Dozier's historic home run chase. You can secure your seat in Dozier's favorite home run targets through the special ticket offer for a chance to catch history. For more information, visit twinsbaseball.com/Dozier goes deep.
Well, he has done that 41 times this year. Brian Dozier has hit a home run, but he also here tonight has the only Twins hit.
Singled up the middle, stole second, but was left there back in the first. Strike 1.
Boyd has been razor sharp here tonight.
That's pulled foul. And it's 0-2.
Boyd originally signed by the Toronto Blue Jays back in 2013. He was the Blue Jays' number 6 pick in that draft out of Oregon State.
Mark Trumbo's not hit a home run yet tonight, and they're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Orioles batting. So it's Trumbo 43, Dozier 41.
Tried the backdoor breaking ball right there.
And with Encarnacion also in the discussion with 41. The other Chris Davis with 40 for the Oakland A's.
Quite a year.
1-2. And now 2-2. Polanco hoping for a chance here. We saw the Tigers score a run in the 3rd inning after the 2nd out. Zipped inside, 3-2.
Boyd has walked 1. That was Max Kepler in the 2nd inning. And he was a race trying to steal second. First time he has been thrown out at the big league level, Kepler.
Pulled foul, still 3-2.
Boyd last year made 2 starts for Toronto before he got traded over to Detroit. He made 10 starts for the Tigers. Won only 1 game in those 10 starts. Comes into this ball game this year, 5 wins, 4 losses.
On the ground, Iglesias on the second hop, catches and fires, and another 1-2-3 inning for Matt Boyd. Of the game so far, all Detroit.
Well, the Tigers scored first, and that in the 3rd inning on a triple by Maben. And then Miguel Cabrera pretty much stole a run, if he could ever steal a run in his career. Made it a 2-0 ball game, and then the Tigers kind of opened it up in the 6th inning. The big hit in that ball in that inning, James McCann hitting a 439-foot 3-run home run.
So Boyd can afford a hint of a smile in the dugout.
69 pitches. He's retired 13 straight Twins.
Maben takes strike 1 from Tonkin. Maben, Iglesias, and Cabrera here in the Detroit 7th inning. Today in the Twins clubhouse, the players cast their ballots for the Players' Choice Awards. So the players have their own set of awards for American League MVP, so on and so forth. Who would be your league MVP? Because I've got a dark horse candidate that I haven't.
I got Betts.
Do you?
Yeah,
okay.
From Boston right now. Who's your dark horse?
Adrian Beltre. Yep. Is there a more valuable player to his team than Adrian Beltre?
Yeah, good one.
They have the best record in the American League, 89-62. Ball hit to center. Buxton cutting across, and will cut that ball off. Maben will be held to a single, leading off the 7th inning. Second hit for Maben. Let's go find Kevin Gordon.
Yeah, guys, you guys mentioned earlier the Twins offense sputtering over the weekend. They may be getting a big bat back fairly soon. Miguel Sano took ground ball today, had a chance to hit in that cage. Of course, he's got the back issue, but Paul Molitor said inching closer to a return. In fact, he even said he's day-to-day right now. In fact, they think maybe at some point on this homestand they can get Miguel Sano back, get that big bat back in the lineup, and hopefully get this offense back on track, gentlemen.
Well, it'd be nice if he finished the season, you know, getting to get some more at-bats. Took some batting practice here today and clobbered some up on the 3rd.
Yeah. Yeah, you can imagine the Twins working him back into the lineup first as a designated hitter, then hopefully a few games at third base. Inside, 1-1. Who would be your American League Cy Young Award winner?
Corey Kluber, what he's done. Rick Porcello, I know, has 20 wins. but he's on a pretty good offensive ball club. I don't know where his earned run average is.
Well, he's among the league leaders. I was just going to look that up here.
Yeah, wow, he's 3.08, third best. And also Chris Sale having a very good year.
Porcello would be, I don't have a vote, neither do you. And I don't think we qualify, at least I never have. Did they have the Players' Choice Awards when you were playing?
I don't recall.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's, no.
But Porcello would get my vote. What do you want a guy to do? I mean, every start is 7 or 8 or 9 innings long. He's kept his team, you know, in first place in a really tough division. I
do know who Jack Morris's vote would be, and that'd be Brian Shaw.
To left center field. And that ball is caught by Buxton. What a catch by Byron Buxton, laying out in left center field.
The fans here acknowledging that great catch. My goodness, it looked like it was going to be just like what Maven just did. Split the gap between Grossman and Buxton, and he came out of nowhere.
Look where he started. A little bit right center.
Wow. So athletic. Great concentration, the dive, the slide, and then gets up and almost gets Maven at first base.
That one's not coming back. Cabrera with a bullet into the seats. And Cabrera can take his time going around the bases. A 2-run home run against Tonkin, and it's 8-0.
Well, home run number 34 on the year for Cabrera. He jumped on that first fastball, a line drive home run into the left field seats.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. In off the plate by about a foot.
That ball rode into him, and he opened up quickly.
The Tigers felt they got an awfully important win Sunday in Cleveland, just their second win this year against the Indians. And an off day yesterday, and they've come out swinging the bats here tonight.
For Michael Tonkin, that's the 12th home run he's allowed out of the bullpen. And 68 innings pitched.
Cabrera leading the major leagues and runs batted in over that time. 1 strike to J.D. Martinez. Drilled to the corner. And fair by a couple of feet. And a long carom off the padded wall or the limestone. And Martinez whistles a double into the left field corner.
Now with that hit by Martinez after he drew a couple walks, now every Tiger has at least 1 hit. So the slider left middle of the plate, and Martinez hitting it hard off that limestone. It stays in play. Carom's back on the field. And it's a double for Martinez, his 33rd. So Michael Tonkin getting hit around here in the 7th inning.
Twins would like him to finish the inning. Justin Upton, the batter. Pat Light warming up down in the Twins bullpen. And that is a no swing, and it's a ball not caught by Murphy. And J.D. Martinez will go to third base.
That should be a pass ball right there. That ball had some run on it. Almost the same pitch that Cabrera hit. Watch this movement. Ball come running in on Upton. That's a ball that Murphy would say he should have caught.
It is a pass ball. See, the target was on the outside corner, and the pitch sailed way inside, and now a pop-up with Vargas over to take a look, but it's well back into the seats. Infield halfway in here. Already down 8-0. Breaking ball over, and it's 1-2. who would get your vote for American League Manager of the Year. Swing and a miss, and Upton strikes out. He'll just walk back to the dugout, and finally is called out by Adrian Johnson.
And Upton striking out for the second time in a ball game.
Again, right there. Why wouldn't you run first? Murphy's got to make a throw, and you got a runner at third base, and if the ball is juggled or overthrown or whatever, you got a chance to score a run.
Well, that's something that the coaching staff, I'm sure, will have to address with Upton.
All right, for Manager of the Year here, who would you pick?
Well, I'm looking. Boston, John Farrell done a good job, but they have a very good offensive team. Terry Francona, I think, has done a great job. Nobody expected Cleveland, I think, to be where they're at. A 7-game lead. They're going to go to postseason. How about yourself?
Well, just to name the other candidates, Jeff Bannister, great job with the Rangers, but my guy would be Buck Showalter. The Orioles are 6th in the league in run scoring. The Twins are 7th, and we know the Twins have had the poorest pitching staff of the league this year. The Orioles haven't pitched well either. Twins are 15th in the league in team ERA. The Orioles are 11th, and yet the Orioles are right now headed for postseason play. Nice block by Murphy. There isn't anything that the Orioles have done very well, and they've caught the ball, and they've got great bullpen, but their starting rotation has been much better than the Twins.
But they're like one of these teams, that have built from the 9th inning back. I mean, Britton, or they re-signed O'Day. They've done a great job out of their bullpen.
1-2. Swing and a miss, and that'll close out the 7th inning. A couple more runs for the Tigers. A base hit and a home run, but in between, a great catch by Byron Buxton. Of baseball presented by T-Mobile. A look around the majors. There's your guy, Mookie Betts. 3 hits tonight for the Red Sox as they are leading 5-2 now, top of the 9th inning at Camden Yards. Jose Fernandez, 3 hits over 8 innings. And look what he's done against the Nationals, who've been pretty good in the last few years. Gary Sanchez, 17th home run, tied for the most home runs in the first 40-some games of a career. And Wally Joyner holds that record. Remember, Wally Joyner was the guy. Wally Joyner's got 16. Wally Joyner was the guy who replaced Rod Carew as the Angel first baseman back in '86.
I tell you, he was a teammate of mine in Anaheim. He could hit. He could hit.
Big fly ball to left off the bat of Polanco.
And here comes Upton.
He's in the vicinity.
14 in a row retired by Matt Boyd.
One down. And Robbie Grossman will bat. You know, it's been a bad night for Twins hitters when Grossman has struggled and struck out twice against a left-handed pitcher. You look at what Polanco, Grossman, and Vargas have done against lefties this year, and Boyd has held them to a collective 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts.
He's got everything working tonight. Fastball, good location. That last pitch, the curveball to get strike one. He's got the changeup right there. Really hitting his spots well.
Grossman bluffed a bunt, took a strike, then waved at the changeup, and there he is again, behind in the count, 0-2. Well, that's what you like to see from a young pitcher who had a bad outing, a response, getting a chance to pitch against the same team the next time around.
And it's been a week between starts, so you know he's been biting at the bit to want to get back out there. I didn't care who it was. It just so happened to be the Twins. He's only had 2 really bad outings. He had one against Kansas City earlier this year that almost matched the outing he had against the Twins. 3 2/3 innings, 7 earned runs allowed, 8 hits, both of them. Other than that, you know, he'll go 5, 6 innings. His longest outing, 7 innings. He's done it twice this year. He's trying to get through the 7th here, but very low pitch count, 74 pitches, 52 strikes.
1-2 to Grossman. On the right field line, and that'll spin back into the seats. And the only Twins hit again was Dozier's leadoff single in the first inning. As it's turned out, that's the only Twins hit. It's the only base runner that the Twins have left aboard in every inning since. Boyd has pitched to only 3 batters per inning. And now 2-2. Ooh, that pitch has been called a strike tonight.
That was the pitch that struck out. He got called out in the first inning, that high fastball. It was actually a better pitch than the one that he got called struck out on.
And fouled away, still 3-2.
You know, when you're a youngster like Boyd, 25 years old, making just his 29th major league start, you need outings like this to really make you feel good going into the winter. You know, I mean, his career record not very good, 6-10, 5.65 ERA coming into this ball game. Only 9 quality starts in 28 starts.
There's a deep drive, and the Twins are on the board. Grossman finally caught up with Boyd and hammered a home run.
And there's the first run for the Twins on Grossman's 11th home run.
That's a good at bat too. He fell behind, almost was called out on strikes, fouled off a tough pitch, and then finally got something he could handle, and it left the ballpark in a hurry.
And it didn't look like that bad of a pitch. Take a look right here. You see where that ball is. It's kind of down and in, but Grossman opened up quickly and puts the Twins on the board.
For the Twins, 187th home run of the year. Needing to average just over 1 a game to get to the 200 mark. And now inside to Vargas. The problem, of course, for the Twins, they even hit some home runs in New York and earlier in Detroit, won a couple of ball games, but so many of these home runs are solo home runs now because the lineup is struggling to get on base. And there goes another one, perhaps. Nope. Upton, short of the warning track, makes the catch, out number 2.
Vargas jammed himself a little bit right there, but it's a fly ball out for the second out.
And that'll bring up Suzuki. Suzuki with a fly to center and then a strikeout in the 5th inning. Checked his swing, ball 1. Pulled foul, 1-1. Suzuki's average has fallen back now to 266. We really don't have many options with Sano on the bench and Rosario's season over with the broken thumb. Bauer still struggling with a thigh injury. Tapped a short, easy play for Iglesias. And over to Cabrera, and the Twins are done. Twins get on the board on a Grossman home run, and it's 8-1.
Of America's Studio Sports Update. It was on this date back in 2004 that the Twins clinched the American League Central Division title with an 8-2 win over the White Sox. Torrey Hunter, Corey Koski each hit 2 homers in the first inning of that game off Mark Burley. First time in team history the Twins had won 3 consecutive division titles.
I remember that night very well. Doesn't seem that long ago, but the Twins won titles in Ron Gardenhire's first 3 years. Won a playoff series the first year and then kept running into the Yankees and being eliminated. Pat Light comes out of the Twins bullpen. He will pitch to the Tigers in the 8th inning.
Yeah, on this recent road trip to Detroit and New York, Pat Light worked one day on Wednesday in Detroit and then Friday against the Mets, making his 15th relief appearance. Light last worked on Friday, and then a third of an inning, gave up a couple hits, a run with a walk. Walks are very high for Pat Light. Fastball, splitter, slider.
Boy, we don't see many of the sliders, though, do we? First pitch missing, ball 1. Light pitched a scoreless inning in the 4 games in Detroit. He's done better, although he gave up a run, as Bert said, in New York. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
That's kind of hit or miss for him. You know, he's had those, had a couple outings, one especially here in Kansas City in early September. Worked 2 appearances, 2/3 of an inning total, gave up 5 earned runs in those 2 outings. There's that splitter right there, just missing.
2-1. Saltalamacchia will bat next, and then Romine. Bottom third of the Tiger lineup. Swing and a miss on the fastball.
He's got a good fastball, you know, maybe not what the Twins anticipated, but still 93 to 95 range. If he stays on top of that 6'5" frame he was given, can create a good downward plane.
Splitter gets a swing and a miss.
That's a nasty pitch, almost like a hard breaking ball.
Well, I'm trying to think, you know, the pitches that have been put in play hard against him, hardly any of them have been that splitter. It's been the fastball. And that's just a nasty pitch.
It's a nasty pitch. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins.
Jared Saltalamacchia. There are times, and I'm sure you feel the same way too, there are times when we all miss our dear friend Bob Casey. And every time Jared Saltalamacchia's name is in the lineup, I think of Bob and how much fun he would have had saying the name or something close to Jared Saltalamacchia.
I think he would have stopped somewhere at Salta. He was a good man. That is a shoulder full. Going right arm to your left arm.
And he's a big guy, and that's a good thing. I mean, if he was built like Jose Iglesias, you know,
you'd have to put a hyphen in there to start a new line.
The first and last letters would be inside his waistband. There you go. Salty. Half swing. Did he go? No, says third base umpire Ryan Black. Three and two. Light. One syllable. Saltalamacchia. 6 syllables. And he threw the splitter and struck him out. 2 down.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Light.
Every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. Weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Central, only on FS1. 2 down in the 8th, and now Andrew Romine. Fastball for a strike.
Good fastball with a little movement, almost like a two-seamer. Good location to get strike one.
Well, I asked Neil Allen about a week ago about Light and the fastball, thinking that, well, maybe they're trying to get him to throw a two-seamer, and that would naturally take some of the velocity off. But Neil said no, that he's throwing the same fastball he threw in the Red Sox organization. The Twins just haven't seen the upper 90s velocity. 2 strikes, and the splitter flared foul.
Well, sometimes you get these guns that are a little bit on the high side. So I mean, Light is what he is. He's 93 to 95. We saw some good movement with that nasty splitter. A chance to strike out the side here.
And that'll go to the backstop.
Might have a chance to strike out 4.
I don't know how you're supposed to hit it. I can't imagine trying to catch it. That ball dropped about 1.5 feet.
Yeah, that ball landed in front of Murphy and kind of rolled up his glove and then got behind him. Watch this splitter right here. Right on the other side of home plate.
Well, I think
Murphy kind of turned right there.
You were talking about Centeno the other day and how he squares his shoulders better than he did early in the year in blocking pitches like that.
It'll be a strikeout and a wild pitch.
And now Maben inside ball 1. Maben with a triple and a run batted in the 3rd, a single and a run scored in the 7th. Fastball for a strike.
Light, of course, coming over from the Boston Red Sox. He made 2 appearances for the Boston Red Sox. One in April, one in July. They were not good ones. Then he got traded for Fernando Abad to the Twins.
Abad hasn't been much help to the Red Sox so far this year. Be interesting if the Red Sox do get to the playoffs, whether he's even on the postseason roster. The Red Sox beat the Orioles 5-2. A strike on the outside corner, something at 91. Maybe that was the slider.
Maybe, yeah, like a little cutter right there.
So now we would expect.
Here comes a nasty one. He's got a chance to strike out 4. Saw Chuck Finley do that once. It's a record that's been tied many times.
Scott Baker did it with the Twins. Floated inside.
Tyler Duffy, we were told, did it this year.
Hey, if he throws one like the one he threw Romine, he could strike out 5 guys this inning.
I don't know if that's ever been done. Yeah, records are made to be broken.
3-2. Romine will take off. And a fastball sailing down and in. That's a walk. Now 2 aboard with 2 out. And Iglesias will bat. I think, to be fair, Light certainly doesn't have anything secured for next year, but Paul Molitor talked about the last 2 weeks and how critically important it could be for guys like Pat Light to try to finish strongly in the season. Give the Twins field staff and whoever is going to be making these decisions in the offseason some encouragement that he can be part of the solution next year. You see a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, and when he has command of it, he can mix in the splitter, and there are tools to work with there. Swing and a miss at 96.
Yeah, 2 good fastballs right there. That's important. I know Jack Morris, who had a nasty splitter, he would say it's so important to get ahead in the count, so that makes that splitter even harder to hit.
2 strikes. And somehow Iglesias tapped it foul. You ever strike out 4 guys in an inning?
I don't believe so. I don't know. Had a tough time with 3.
I bet you did that many times.
I probably did. I don't know.
Why don't you research that?
Okay, I will tonight.
And tomorrow give us that answer.
Okay.
0-2. 3,700. What? How many strikeouts?
3,701. That one was the hardest one to get.
And you didn't know it was your last one.
No, if I'd known that, I would have kept the ball.
1-2. Pulled foul. Well, now you look, and here's Light. He's struck out 2 guys, actually struck out 3. Now he's walked somebody, and now he's thrown 26 pitches.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at, Dick. The high pitch count right there.
One and 2 to Iglesias.
16 strikes out of the 26.
And a fastball, tap foul.
These are one of these guys that are a pest to pitch to, Iglesias, because they don't strike out that often. On the season, he struck out 45 times in 432 at-bats. So basically 1 out of every 10 at-bats. Puts the ball in play, doesn't draw a lot of walks, 26. And he does that. He makes that pitch count go up.
With the fastball and the splitter. He's fouled off 4 or 5 of them.
This man can play some short, I'll tell you that, Iglesias.
4 2-strike fouls in this at bat. Now a blast to left center field. Grossman chasing it. Buxton chasing it, and Grossman makes the catch in front of Buxton to put an end to the 8th inning. Light struck out the first 3 men and then had to face 2 more.
This baseball game for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. Once again, Miguel Cabrera crushing at Target Field, a long home run earlier tonight. Of course, we'll take a look at another brilliant defensive play by Byron Buxton in center field. Just amazing to see that guy cover the ground, that he's able to make plays like he did tonight. And we'll also bring down to the clubhouse and hear from the manager, Paul Molitor. The Twins right now in danger, 6 outs away from going 0-7 in their own ballpark against this team from Detroit, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin.
Max Kepler will lead off the bottom of the 8th, taking an off-speed pitch over for a strike.
And for the first time in this young man's career, he is in the big leagues. He is working into the 8th inning. Matt Boyd.
Kepler to left, and Upton with the catch, 1 away. Kepler 0 for 2 tonight. His batting average now against left-handed pitching is under 200. Here's Escobar, line to right, hit a warning track fly ball to left. He's 0 for 2. Down and away, ball 1. I mentioned that Daniel Norris on Sunday became the first Tiger starter in 21 games to pick up a win, and it sure looks like Boyd wants to follow suit here tonight. 1-1. Shane Green getting loose. So's Tommy Malone. Two and 1.
Yeah, Boyd's last win came 4 starts ago here in Minnesota when he defeated the Twins 9-4.
And Escobar lifts one to left. Upton still on the grass, out number 2. We'll bring up John Ryan Murphy.
For Boyd, 11 fly ball outs, 4 ground ball outs to go with his 7 strikeouts.
Murphy with a couple of infield pops, one to the second baseman, one to the shortstop. When you struggle early in the season, as Murphy certainly did, and then you spend most of the season in AAA, there isn't a whole lot you can do in September to make your numbers look respectable. So it's important, I think, if you want to hold out hope that Murphy can pin down a catching spot for the Twins next year, either a primary or secondary spot, is just see what he does in September. He was 3 for 40 when he was sent down, and since he's 5 for 21, a little bit better. 1-1, and we've seen him throw out a couple of runners, which is encouraging to see. And now low 2-1.
I really don't think the Twins saw this coming from Murphy, because 3 years with the Yankees, you know, kind of up and down, but a total of 115 games over those 3 years with the Yankees. He was a .267 hitter. Not much power, 4 home runs.
Up the middle and a sharp single. And in the minor leagues, he had .263. Now, you know, he's not going to follow Joe Mauer and win a batting title, but he was an accomplished hitter both in the minor leagues and the major leagues.
Sometimes you get into ruts and you just can't get out of them, and that's kind of what Murph, I think, found himself in.
And if we're going to admit that Hector Santiago struggled in the transition to a new team, and if it's plausible that a pitcher is going to have some trouble, then why wouldn't it also be true for a position player, especially one trying to learn a new pitching staff? And season didn't get started right with everybody suffering through an 0-9 start.
I just saw a quick trip to the mound by Salto LaMacchia.
Byron Buxton 0 for 2, a fly ball to left and a pop up to second. Strike on the outside corner. Indians walk off the Royals. Swings and misses 0-2. Mentioned the Red Sox beat the Orioles 5-2. Toronto, Seattle scoreless in the second at Safeco. Dozier on deck. Buxton trying to prolong the 8th inning. And that kicks away to the backstop, and Murphy will go to second.
See how they rule that. A wild pitch will be charged to Void. That's his first wild pitch of the year. So it looked like a breaking ball that just got away from Salto LaMacchia.
Approaching the 100 pitch mark. Tigers hoping that Boyd can get through the 8th. Probably somebody else will pitch the 9th. Buxton got a pitch up, fouled it straight back.
Good swing right there, just missed.
I think given everything he's gone through, if Buxton can get the batting average in the 230s, he'd have a chance to take a deep breath and go, okay, the worst is behind me. And I, had a nice little run the last 2 weeks, raised my batting average up into the 230 mark, with the idea being that it'll get much higher than that, of course. There's a high fly to left. Boy, did he hit this up. Long ways up. And Upton with the catch. And the Twins are done in the 8th. Took it on the chin against the Twins in Detroit. Came back with a much better game tonight.
Well, you know, he gave up a hit to Brian Dozier, the first batter. That was it for a long time. At one time, he retired 14 straight Twin batters. Gave up the home run to Grossman and then the base hit to Murphy. That was it. One walk, tying a career high 7 strikeouts. He's done that 4 times, but he was razor sharp here tonight. Again, how hard it is to pitch a shutout because, you know, he was dealing.
Yeah.
Made one pitch to Grossman. That wasn't a bad pitch, and Grossman hit it out for the home run.
Now in the 9th inning, Miguel Cabrera will lead things off against Tommy Milone.
It's been a while for Tommy Milone to be out on the A mound. His last appearance came Sunday here against the Cleveland Indians. He pitched 1 shutout inning, making his 5th relief appearance.
Grounded into the shift. The ball hops up to Dozier and over to Vargas. Cabrera quickly retired. Mentioned that Hector Santiago, the starter for the Twins tonight, has the advantage of being left-handed, and so too does Tommy Milone. As disappointing as his season has been, this is a man who still has a winning record in the big leagues. Came into the year 41 and 28 with an ERA of under 4. I don't know what Tommy's future is in a Twins uniform, but if not here, I asked you the other day and you said, yeah, somebody will pick him up. Somebody will sign Tommy Milone, because, you know, it hasn't worked out here, but last year he was 9-5 with a 3.92 ERA, and it's just been a very disappointing year for Tommy Milone.
Well, I think we all know that Tommy Malone's not going to be your 1, 2, or 3 type of starter, but you know, you look at it at all the clubs now, they're looking for that 4th and 5th type of starter to give you some innings, and Tommy Milone can do that. He knows how to pitch. Had a little shoulder issue that put him on a disabled list back in August, just about a month. He has struggled as a starter this year, of course, but be used different ways. Spot starting out of the bullpen. Some good years with the Oakland A's.
2-2.
Changes speeds well like that right there and gets a strikeout.
2 down. Justin Upton will bat next. Time now for What's Next, brought to you by CenturyLink. Buck Farmer finally named today by Brad Ausmus as the starter. The other options were Anibal Sanchez and Mike Pelfrey, but it'll be Farmer against Barrios. Barrios hoping for a better outing than his last couple against Detroit.
Always fun to watch this young man develop. Hopefully he'll have a quality start. That's what he needs. He's had only 1 in 12 starts.
Last couple of times Barrios has pitched against the Tigers, he was sent down right after that start. That won't happen this time. Hopefully a much better outing. 1 strike to Upton.
Well, he hopefully wants to improve on his ERA. He has 2 starts. He's 0-1 with a 19.06 ERA.
Yeah.
So,
and the first start against the Tigers didn't get out of the first inning.
And 5 2/3 innings in those 2 starts, 12 earned runs.
Mark Lowe looks like he'll get the 9th inning.
So maybe he'll do a Matt Boyd tomorrow.
Well, be his 2nd start. We anticipate that he'll have his, new delivery that he broke out against the Mets Friday night. 2-1. 2-2.
See what he does to hitters, Tommy Milone, with the off-speed pitches. Excellent control over his career.
Tap to third. Charged by Escobar on the run to Vargas. And Tommy Milone pitches a 1-2-3 9th inning. very early innings, it looked like they were off to a good start. Santiago was putting up some zeros. Twins got Brian Dozier into scoring position right away, but couldn't get him home. And since then, the Tigers have taken control. Matt Boyd with 8 innings, and now the 9th they'll give to Mark Lowe.
Yeah, Mark Lowe having a disappointing season out of that bullpen, making his 52nd relief appearance. ERA at 7.14. He's allowed 37 earned runs in 46 2/3 innings.
James Beresford is going to hit for Brian Dozier. Strike one. On the ground on one hop to Andrew Romine. One down.
Mark Lowe, 33 years old. In his first season with the Tigers. Came up with the Seattle Mariners back in 2006. Pitched for 6 different major league teams.
Polanco will bat with 1 gone in the 9th. And a strike. Polanco 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts and a pop up to short. The Yankees beat the Rays 5-3. The Yankees fading a bit after their series with the Red Sox. Well, with 2 weeks to go, the Yankees hoping to overcome the 4.5 game deficit and the fact that there are 5 teams ahead of them. A strike, 1 and 2.
Well, they're in the same situation really as the Tigers too. You know, you're trying to catch 2 teams just get into postseason, and all you can do is take care of your own business, and the Yankees did that, as the Tigers look like they're doing that here tonight.
Popped up, backing out of play. And again, there are 2 wild card teams going in, and it sure looks like the way things are setting up that if not for the wild card race, there wouldn't be much drama in the final 2 weeks of the season. See the wild card standings, and they're bunched together. Any one of those teams can get in, but the smallest margin with 2 weeks to play between first and second place is in the American League East, where Boston had a 4-game lead. In the Central, it's a 7-game lead. In the American League West, 9.5. In the National League East, 8. The National League Central, 16 games between the Cubs and the Cardinals, and 6 games in the West between the Dodgers and the Giants. 2 and 2. And Polanco strikes out for the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, nasty slider down and in. Lowe picks up a strikeout. Good location right here. Walter LaMacchia is sitting away, but the ball ends up down and in. Swinging through it.
Here's Grossman, a home run to left, his 11th of the year, the only run on the board for the Twins. And a strike.
The Twins have been only able to manufacture 3 hits tonight, a couple singles and the home run by Grossman. They have left only 2 men on base. Credit Matt Boyd for doing a great job.
And the Twins lineup really scuffling without Sano and without Plouffe and without Rosario now. Brian Dozier's kind of carried this team through August and into September. And he's had the audacity to not homer in a week now. Up and away, 1 and 2. Kepler, of course, is cooled off. Down and in, 2 and 2. Twins went 4-6 against the Tigers at Comerica Park. They just haven't been able to beat the Tigers in their home ballpark. They're on the verge of losing the 7th straight game this year. Two and two from Lowe to Grossman. And now full count, Vargas on deck. Grossman takes a walk. And that will bring up Kenny Vargas.
It's a 20th walk for Lowe in 47 innings pitched.
Vargas with a ground ball, a strikeout, and a fly ball. Strike on the outside corner. And chopped foul, 0-2. Two strikes to Vargas. And now a ball. Boyd hoping for his 6th win of the year, and he's one Mark Lowe strike away from getting it. Missed inside, 2-2.
Well, Lowe's thrown 18 pitches, 10 for strikes.
And the game ends on a called 3rd strike. Anthony, the Tigers are owning the Twins at Target Field. They had maybe the most disappointing loss of the season last year here right before the All-Star break, and they're gaining revenge on the Twins here this year.
Perfect 7-0 for Detroit in downtown Minneapolis. We'll show you how they did it today, how Miguel Cabrera continues to crush the Twins. Byron Buxton's dazzling defense, and hear from Paul Molitor. It's all coming up next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink.